This is Tim Staten with Tim Stating the Obvious. What is this podcast about? It's simple. You are entitled to great leadership everywhere you go, whether it's to church, whether it's to work, whether it's at your house, you are entitled to great leadership. And so in this podcast, we take leadership principles and theories and turn them into everyday, relatable, and usable advice.
And a quick disclaimer, this show, process, or service by trademark manufacturer, or otherwise does not necessarily constitute or imply the endorsement of anyone that I am employed by or favors them in representation. The views are expressed here in my show are my own expressed and do not necessarily state or reflect those of any employer.
Hey, and welcome to today's book review. I'm excited to dive in to the 6 Pillars of Effective Leadership by Jim Carlo. It's a good read for anyone looking to grow as a leader, whether you're managing a small team or steering a large organization. So let's get started. We met Jim earlier last month, and he brings over 30 years of leadership experience to this book, and it really shows. It's an offering of a practical guide on how anyone, not just so-called born leaders, can develop the necessary skills for success. His core message is that leaders aren't born, they're made. Jim identifies 6 key pillars that he defines as truly effective leadership, and they are integrity, focus, compassion, stability, empathy, and humor. In my opinion, this is what sets this book apart, and it's practicality. It's not just theory. It's filled with real-world examples, leadership exercises, and reflection prompts. I take the approach that if you can't get something out of it, then it's useless. That isn't the case when reading this selection. He designed this book so you can take each chapter and it could stand on its own and be applicable in its own way currently right now. And so some key takeaways that I got from this book are leadership isn't about influence. So here are 3 key takeaways that I personally got out of this book. Leadership is about influence. It's not about authority. Integrity and empathy aren't soft skills. You need to hone them, and they're skills that you need for success. And leadership is a journey. It's not just a destination. You're not just going to arrive one day and be a leader. And Jim Carlo also emphasizes the importance of mentorship and lifelong learning, encouraging leaders to reflect regularly, seek guidance from those who have been there before. His call to action is for people to seek mentorship and learn all the time, which I am a huge proponent of. If you follow the show, you know that I am a huge proponent of. In fact, we've had great leadership coaches on the show before who we could offer up as mentors for you. If Jim doesn't work for you, we have others. We have Russell Heath from Maine. We talked to him, and he's like, why? And he explained why we need a leadership coach. We talked to David Dusick, and he's a men's coach, and he's in the men's ministry, reaching out about the perils and isolation of being alone. And then we talked to Katya Rave about why winning isn't accidental. And then we talked to Dave Dobson on how we can unlock our full potential with coaching. We've talked with Sean Grace about unlocking the art of the question and being better leaders by asking better questions. We connected with Sue Bowles, who taught us that it's important to reach out and be people with each other. We talked with Andrea Sampson, who's taught us the art of storytelling and being better storytellers. And lastly, we talked with Jess Jensen about social media engagement and how we can be better at that. And of course, Jim Carlo. He's the author of this book, and he's offered up to anyone for them to reach out to him. So his contact information is going to be in the description of this, and you can reach him there. The 6 Pillars of Effective Leadership is perfect for managers, entrepreneurs, and anyone looking to build a stronger, more cohesive team. Whether you're a seasoned leader or just starting out, this book offers actionable steps for you to level up your leadership game. If you're ready to transform your leadership style and make a real impact, I would recommend that you give this book a read. If you've already read it, drop in the comments what's your favorite takeaways from this book. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I'm sure Jim would as well.
As always, thank you for stopping by and checking out this episode and listening to it. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Before we go, I'd like to ask a favor of you if I could. If you could please share this episode with 1 or 2 people who you think might like this topic. If you haven't followed or subscribed on the platform that you're listening to, and hit all the bells and icons and all the whistles so that you know that when we post another episode, you'll be alerted, please go ahead and do all that before you go. If you got some value out of this episode, please leave a review or a comment so we can help spread the show to other people who might be interested in the topics that we've talked about here today, but may not have found our show yet. Again, thanks for stopping by. I'm Tim Staten, Stating the Obvious.